You're listening to the Moist Boys Podcast.
Bienvenido, everyone. Welcome to the Moist Boys Podcast, the only podcast you'll ever need because we talk about everything. Speaking of everything, today we're talking about Monthly Miyazaki is back, folks. Back and better than ever, question mark. Speaking about better than ever.
Citation needed.
I was gonna say, are you just gonna say keep going? Speaking of.
Yeah,
it's your only transition.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of transitions, no wait. Speaking of the Moist
He's
Boys
really committing to this bit.
My name's Josh.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm your best bro, Heather.
I'm RJ.
And I realized after I said, I was like, that one doesn't work. That's not
the best one.
Yeah. We got a friend in the studio today.
Yeah, folks, the
Rona's over.
No, don't believe that. But the vaccines are flowing freely in the streets of gold, and so we're going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, there are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese.
I didn't get my vaccine. I just spit a bunch of hand sanitizer in my mouth. Just squirted a bunch
same
of,
difference.
Same
you
difference.
Spit it into your mouth.
I realized I
Okay.
messed up the bit before it was. Yeah, let's move on.
Speaking of messing things up, I am going to use that. That's going to be every sentence is now.
Speaking of,
Folks, you ever wander into an abandoned theme park and accidentally eat so much food you turn into a pig? Well, we got the film for you.
This
Only
is
that one
America,
time.
so like, yes.
So as we started watching this, Jonathan and I looked at Jonathan and I was like, we are definitely these people who'd be like, an old abandoned amusement park, let's wander in there. That sounds great.
I'm gonna go fucking
We totally
explore
explore
that.
it. I said, and then when they got to the food, I was like, and that's where it stops being us, because both of us would have looked at been like, there's nobody fucking here and all this food. Nah, man, we gotta get out of here.
There's some inconsiderate parents.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, no, it's fine. Just sit down and eat it. We'll pay later. No.
Pay who?
Where do you do it? In what culture is that? I mean, I guess you do pay later, but you probably order the food first.
I was gonna say
Typically.
those are called restaurants, RJ.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
maybe they're on
Damn
a
it,
buffet,
I'm 0 for 2
RJ.
Well, buffets you paid beforehand, so.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, buffet
Not
is like
always.
flat rate.
Not always. When you go and do dim sum, you usually pay after.
That's barely a buffet.
No, they totally roll carts around and you get to pick stuff up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But is that a flat rate or do you pay by the plate?
Pay by the plate.
So that's not really a buffet. That's a la
buffet
carte.
is like where like
That's
you just
where
pay for the body that
where
goes in there.
That's where the term a la
But that's
carte
still
comes
kind of
from.
that's
Yeah.
still
On the
technically
cart.
paying for the plate, I guess.
I mean, they expect you to
A
eat
really
like 5
expensive
plates
plate.
of food.
True.
They expect you to eat one, but pay for 5. And
That's how
then
they
make
get
the
you,
money.
man. You load up your plate the first time, and then you're like, I don't want any more.
I don't
No,
want
how
more.
they get you is by putting the salad bar first, and you're like, well, I gotta eat a salad first.
Never
No.
eat a salad
What?
first.
I totally
Always eat a salad
Absolutely not.
after.
No, I always eat a salad.
I
first.
eat 6 burgers
First
All
you
the
go
mac
and then
and
go back
cheese.
for mac and cheese. Yeah.
mac and cheese, fried chicken.
Always end it
shrimp.
with, you always end with ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh my god, never see. Oh, okay. I can't even have shellfish, and the fact that people go to buffets specifically for shellfish skeeves me the fuck out.
First of all,
Disgusting.
it's frozen and deep fried, so it's fine.
Which one? We went to a buffet, and it was like an Asian buffet, and there was like sushi everywhere, and I was so fucking stoked.
Oh yeah, which one was? God, I don't remember which one that was.
I just
Was it the
don't
one-
I don't know. It was
trust
like-
seafood
it
at
was
a
in
buffet.
Koreatown.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
same.
couldn't do it. I'm very picky about seafood anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I love sushi, but I want it to feel fresh.
It was pretty. No, it was real fresh.
It was actually. Oh, that was. Yeah, I remember
It was
that
in
was.
Koreatown.
Yeah, it was
Speaking of food,
not Koreatown.
so if you haven't watched this movie, I would say stop, pause the episode, watch the movie, and then come back.
Also,
Anybody
tell us
disagree?
why
Well, wait.
you haven't watched the
No.
movie yet.
Can I disclose something? Can I make a confession?
You haven't watched the movie yet?
I watched the movie
Okay.
last night, and I lied. It was my first time watching that movie.
No.
And I wanted to say that I didn't
Oh.
want to say anything because I know of the movie, and I've always caught like bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
And I know what a cultural phenomenon this movie is. I know who No Face is because he's everywhere and all
Yeah,
that. But yeah,
He's
I wanted
rapping
to.
about being a baby and being young, and
that's a different.
But yeah, I realized that after I
Terrible
told you,
Josh.
like, I genuinely was like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. And then after I said that text, I
You
was like,
started it and was like, I've never seen
and
this
I was like,
before.
no, I was like, have I seen it? Like I started second, and I was like, I don't think I've seen this movie. Like I know I've seen
did I meet
pieces of it on
somebody?
TV, but
Yeah.
like when I started watching, I was like, oh yeah, I've never seen this. So I thought it'd be an interesting perspective. Yeah.
So
did we say the movie yet? Did we say the title? I don't know if we said the title.
We have not, but assuming that you can read and you clicked on this, you know what movie it is. But not being an asshole,
I mean,
too late for that.
yeah.
So let's just go ahead and say what movie we're talking about today.
Talking about Spirited Away.
We're talking about The Hangover Part 3. Oh, I watched the wrong movie.
2001.
2001's Spirited Away.
Yeah. I'm guessing it didn't come to the States until like 2002.
I think so, yeah.
Considering apparently Hayao Miyazaki's only Oscar win, he has a second one for like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Interesting.
But this is the only one he's won. This is also his first nomination, it looks like, from what I can tell.
Yeah, and the only time before or since I feel like that like an anime made it anywhere near the Oscars.
Yeah.
They were just like, you know what? We're going to give you this one, and then you take your little Chinese cartoons and you go the fuck over there. Don't bother us no more.
Is there any other movies he's done that have made it into the American mainstream?
I would say Princess Mononoke is probably his other like really well-known one.
And Totoro. Normally,
Totoro,
if
yeah.
you talk to people about Miyazaki and they're like, how? And you go, My Neighbor Totoro. And they're like, oh, I love that.
Never seen any of these. I'm not well versed in the anime.
That's a good transition. So
Speaking of not seeing
Speaking
anything.
speaking of non-stick, RJ, what's your knowledge of Mr. Miyazaki? What's your experience? Is this your first beginning to end
I got nothing.
Miyazaki film?
Yeah, I know that he's who made this movie. That's
Rad.
it. I know he's made several movies.
There you go,
And
folks.
yeah,
It takes all
That's
kinds.
You heard it here first.
So did RJ.
he makes movies. Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, so Spirited Away, I imagine much like it seems every other experience he's had with the United States, he's probably like, you know what, I'm over it.
Probably, yeah.
Probably the only reason it did win is because it was under the Disney umbrella at the time.
Yeah. And so
Since they have to win every year because they alternate with their Disney films and then their Pixar, and then the Academy More is like, well, who cares?
I did catch the nod to Pixar towards the end of the movie when she goes to Swamp Bottom, the squeaky lamp thing. Anyone else catch that?
I'm definitely.
I read that was a genuine nod to Pixar.
Was it?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
'Cause
supposed to
it's
be like
like
the
a-
bouncing lamp.
okay, interesting.
Definitely
Yeah.
a cameo to a bunch of
Yeah,
other things.
I looked it up because I was like, oh, that's like the pic. And it is sure enough a nod to Pixar's lamp.
I wonder if
I don't know if that's true, but the internet said so I kind of believe it.
I mean, it has to be true. It's on the internet.
It's on the internet.
They can't lie. It's
You
against
mean to
the
tell
law.
me that
I
that guy
feel-
on Reddit lied to me?
I feel like it probably I'm not saying that it's not after Disney got their hands on it and probably added the sound effect of it doing that.
The
possible.
squeak.
But it probably was an actual like I can't think of the word off the top
The
of my head.
lantern is similar to the lamp Luxo.
Well, there
from
you go.
Done by John Lasseter.
And
It's because Hayao Miyazaki and John Lasseter are friends.
Boom.
Ooh.
I know more about anime than you. Boom.
and which
Done.
website
Over.
are you reading this on?
Ghibli Wiki.
Okay, well there you go.
So then it's 75%
InfoWars.
comicbook.com, even worse.
Oh God. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say about this movie, and I feel like agree or disagree. This is kind of how I feel about it, and I came to this conclusion about halfway through, is that this movie is gonna be very hard to talk about.
Yes.
And it's not because of any sort of like cultural like importance that the movie has. That's not going to be like the quote that always comes to mind. Screw this up, but I something to the effect of like talking about art is like reading about music. And
Everybody loves it.
everybody loves it. Like it makes as much sense about reading about music. Like they're so disconnected. They're such polar opposites for each medium that like it just doesn't make sense to even do it in the first place. And this movie start to finish has a story, but is as close to filmmaking as just straight up art that I think we have covered in a long while. And so it kind of feels like, how do I even talk about this movie? Because visually it is just an absolute, every fucking second of this movie is just a visual feast. Yeah. And how do you put that into words, which are the tapestry on which
to hang 60 plus minutes of chatting about it.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, I just knew watching the movie was like, I'm going to have a hard time with this one, I think. Well, thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll see.
Bye. Well, I had the same thought last night. I was just like, everything about this movie is the culmination, and I feel like there are other movies that are more culturally important probably to him and to like the people around him. Princess Mononoke is probably a more, personally to him, important. And
Totoro is absolutely, because it's literally an alternate telling of his life.
Yeah. But I feel like this more, like I have not seen all of them. So you've got like, we still have a couple more to do. Ponyo, Howl's Moving Castle, and The Wind Rises. But I feel like in some ways, this was the movie that he was been working up to making. And like everything that we've seen in the previous movies gets used here. It's hard to talk about movies where there's not a huge problem with them. And I feel like at every step of the way, they just like hit it out of the park.
I'm like trying to think of a way to disagree with you, and I'm like, no.
I mean, like,
and we do get to see a lot of things that are Miyazaki staples. Like, he definitely is like, this is, you can feel it's his movie through and through. Like, at no point do you're like, oh, I wonder where this came from. Like, it's all him the whole way through.
So, like, the one thing I was reading about, apparently this was like the third project that he pitched. Who is he pitching? Like, who is he pitching to? But like, you know, obviously they're producers on the film.
Yeah.
And it's like, even Hayao Miyazaki has to go in and like pitch ideas to somebody.
He doesn't just walk into a room and everybody's like, money, here you go.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got an idea. And they're like, great, we're on board. Let's go.
It didn't really say what his other ideas were. I don't think he's the type of person to talk about stuff until it's like literally about
already
to come
done.
out.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what's coming out. So now I will talk about it. Yeah. So I don't know but like, just to think, even at this point, after Totoro, after Kiki's Delivery Service, after Princess Mononoke, they're like, okay, convince me that we should let you make this movie. Like,
yeah.
He pretty much prints money for them, and they're still like, you know what, though?
We're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, to give credit to the producer, like, this was the movie that came out of it, so I can't, it's hard to disagree with.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the other films would have been, so it's hard to say how they would have stack up, obviously, but...
RJ, you haven't talked in a while. What do you got over there?
What do you think about these Japanime films?
Like I said, I'm not super well versed in them. I grew up on Pokemon. That's about it. That was basically my whole anime experience, and then I occasionally watched anime television shows.
Yeah,
but mostly the staples of every kid's, you know.
If it was
shows.
on Toonami,
pretty much, yeah. Dragon Ball Z, One Piece. But
all the shows that I have somehow avoided watching.
I would say I've never watched a single one.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked One Piece. One Piece was cool.
See, One Piece,
but it goes on forever.
Yeah, it's like the thing is
27 seasons or so. I don't know.
There's 970 some odd episodes of it. It's one of those shows where like I think about like maybe I'd start watching that, and it's like no, I don't know that I have the time. I would already have to have been watching it for the last like 15 years or however long it's been going. Actually finding the actual version of it when I had initially seen it and not the 4Kids American dub of it, because that is not a kids show.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a kids show.
I'll say as a first time watcher of Spirited Away, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was great. Now we can expand on that.
Yeah. Now there you go.
So is there meaning? What is the meaning behind the parents? There's something going on there. Is it just Miyazaki getting them out of the way, or is there a specific thing that he's trying to say with the way that they are interacting with the world?
I thought like them being turned into pigs, like a dig at like capital, like in like greed and I don't know how to phrase it.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah,
like greed, and also just her parents are very stubborn.
Yeah,
like you see that before they get there,
irresponsible,
and even after,
borderline irresponsible. Who the hell is just like, oh, we're gonna eat all this food, just go whatever. She's like 10.
Yeah,
just go walk down this abandoned theme park alone at dusk.
To be fair, they were telling her to sit down. She did not sit down.
True.
It's probably for the best.
Who the hell is going to be
They were going to
like,
leave her in the car.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, well, we're going, so you just stay in the car. It's like,
stay
they
there.
don't know how
That's
far
a
this
very
goes.
successful parenting tactic.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
yeah,
I would never actually leave my 5-year-old anywhere. However,
if you were 10, would you do it?
I would still that still works at 10.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
I mean, yeah. She didn't stay.
Yeah. It's a very effective parenting tactic.
True.
Also, who starts going down a completely unfinished and overwooded road and is like, you know what? Floor it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's get us all seriously injured.
Let's just
when I hit a
fucking-
branch.
Who wants to play Let's Get in a Wreck?
I'm surprised he did this, and this is probably one of the few times that he's actually done this. One of the few times when Miyazaki has actually integrated digital computer animation effects into his film, and there's a couple of times when you can see, like, yeah, they had to do that with computers. Like some of the water effects and stuff, it's more, like some of the gel effects you can see are more fluid versus like drawn.
Although I thought it blended pretty well for being...
Like it doesn't stick out as far as like two elements being smashed together, but more of like, you can tell that like there's one particular shot where there's like a big gelatin ball that's kind of like bubbling up out of the tub, and it's like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that with like a traditional animation.
That one, and the scene where she's being pulled down the hall, where they like they kind of give you like a first person perspective.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I think it's towards the beginning when she's signing the contract, I believe, right before that.
Yeah.
Where they're like pulling her in. That kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
As a different animation style.
There's also the one where she and Haku are like, they're running through the garden.
Oh yeah,
and then like the flowers on either side.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, but then also there are times when you can tell where they just took a really big drawing and just literally just panned a camera across it to do the pans. It's like, man, you can't like. Sometimes you just have to make a really big drawing and move the camera across it.
When they're on the train too, I don't know if this visual detail was in any other parts of the film and I just didn't notice, but they had like a watercolored sky, which was like a really pretty backdrop, but it was like really apparent when they were like kind of going down the water.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only, because you don't see the sky too much in this, because a lot of it takes place inside the bathhouse.
Yeah,
right.
Which for folks out there, Japanese bathhouses are not the kind you're thinking of.
Yeah, no.
It's literally just
it would be a much different movie if they were.
Yeah.
This is a very nice spa, not an Epstein bathhouse.
Yeah.
Oof.
Is this also? I guess Ponyo was the last Disney Ghibli collaboration, right?
I think so. Because that after that one, I think The Wind Rises, I think he just did through G Kids, I think is who like took it, right?
Was it a Disney collaboration with him, or did they just kind of distribute it into America?
I think he let them do most of the translation for the scripts with like oversight. So I think they were in charge of like doing that. Judging by his friendship with John Lasseter, I guess they did work closely together. But yeah, I think it was a little collaboratory.
Yeah. So he found a company that he trusted to do distribution and localization.
Yeah. Poor guy, going from Harvey Weinstein to John Lasseter, that's just like a 1-2 punch that'll just wouldn't want to, like, I'm not going to go back to America again. I'm just not gonna, having the worst luck over there. The score of this also is like everything in this movie is just, they've been working up to it.
Yeah.
Again, not having seen the final 3 that we're going to get to yet, but I feel like this is on the technical side of it, this is like the peak of everything that he's done and everyone that he's collaborated with. Like, even this is probably the best dub of all the Ghibli films.
Like that we've watched so far, or
Yeah.
all of them in general?
Do we watch so far?
That we've watched so far, I would say.
Yes. I would say yes.
You mean in terms of it being like a natural looking
I would
or
say-
feeling
Yeah.
English dub?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, there
say
wasn't
that it is.
any major standouts.
I would say that the voice acting is really great. Like they did pick. However, they definitely did some localization when it comes to the dub, and so you miss some of the context. It doesn't feel that way, but when you go and watch them the other way around, you definitely are like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because like,
But it doesn't feel like they missed story by doing that. Like, whereas in other versions, in other movies, it definitely does.
This feels also the most like Disney was pulling from their pool of actors for some of the roles. Like your main girl is Lilo from Lilo and Stitch,
Her name is Chihiro.
and then
Or
it's
Sen.
it's Sen actually.
Actually, her name is Chihiro. They call her
yeah.
Sen. Thank you.
And then Haku is Max from a Goofy movie.
Yeah. Which is the only one that I was like,
I knew I recognized
Yeah.
that voice.
at first you're kind of like, wait a minute, that's way too old sounding. And then you're like, oh.
When did a Goofy movie
Because
come
he's a
out?
river.
Yeah,
And he's
spoiler
like,
alert.
a turtle.
97?
Goofy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. that sounds about
93,
No way.
90. It's
Because I remember that movie.
93 or 95, somewhere in there. I want to say.
Huh.
95.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were both equally right.
So everybody was
older
right.
than I thought.
I was the most right because I actually said 95 out loud.
You
said
Your
93
third
first.
choice. After 93 twice, and then...
We'll give it to you if we're going Price is Right rules, closest without going over.
That's you're goddamn right.
But if we're going by how old the film is, then I'm correct because I said it was newer, so that technically yours was over age-wise.
He's got you there.
What?
Because I only
You
said
went
it was-
over the age.
Yeah, I said it was 26 years
He
old.
went-
You said
yeah, we went
29.
under the age. So take that.
26 is lower than 29.
How about you're just both wrong and we can move past it?
Oh my God! What is?
But if we move past it, then we have to figure out something else to talk
Ah,
about.
Christ! What do we do? Who else is in this movie? Go,
Stink monster. Stink spirit.
Sting Spirit.
Can we talk about how cute he is when he puts his little arms over the tub?
I mean, he looks like a
He's
like
so
a muck.
cute
so.
from the middle, like the beginning of him showing up, and he's
Yeah.
just like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
He's just cute.
Did Hayao Miyazaki just steal the design from Muck from Pokemon? Is Hayao Miyazaki a thief?
Oh my God! We're busting this shit wide open. Somebody
Breaking
get
news, folks.
somebody
Does
get
kinda look like
comicbook.com on the phone.
Hayao Miyazaki, hack. Here to hear
Terrible.
first.
Somebody get BuzzFeed for me. Somebody get Ranker for
27 ways.
me. Yeah.
Spirited Away was hacky,
Number one.
not original at all.
I did
By
like
BuzzFeed.
I did like the eyebrows on the mask when he becomes the river spirit, though. Again,
This is big old fucking.
eyebrows. Oh man, bushy eyebrows.
I read that cleansing of the river spirit was pulled from like his like something that he did in real life where he cleaned a river.
Yeah.
Nice.
I heard.
Yeah.
Just read that this movie was mainly made to entertain a 10-year-old,
I suppose that is the target audience, but I was also entertained at
and that
26?
10-year-old became the model of Chihiro.
Really.
oh, interesting.
And then John Lasseter was personally on set that day.
Oof.
Gross.
Yikes.
I mean, if this is what Hayao Miyazaki just shits out when he's like, you know what? I want to make a movie for kids.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Sweet Jesus.
Then-
Do that more.
What hope do the rest of us mortals have?
We just all have to become cantankerous old men who are just completely abysmal to be around.
I'm halfway there.
Harvey Weinstein.
Oof.
Yikes. Like I've seen like on Twitter people being like, I made the mistake of going to a panel that he was speaking at and it kind of ruined.
Oh, really? I
whole-
thought you were like joking.
No, he is just a cynical old man who's
Really?
like, he just does it because it's a thing to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't really fucking care about
Oh,
your
that's
enjoyment
sad.
of his shit. He's just doing it. Like the
you would not gather that at all from like
what he pours
the
into
energy.
this shit.
Yeah,
Like,
this
yeah,
movie.
the quote. I'm just like, anime was a mistake, and like the internet trying so hard to be like, that's taken out of context. It's taken out of context, and it's like it's really not. He fucking hates cartoons.
I mean,
it's just what he has to work with.
I mean, to be fair, have you seen most cartoons?
Cartoons might be a mistake, but there's good ones.
No, anime was a mistake.
Yeah. To be fair, everything was a mistake.
So this film was made to please a 10-year-old daughter of Hayao Miyazaki's personal friend, the director.
Wow, a 10-year-old directed a movie.
Seiji Okuda?
Yeah.
Eight?
Okuda's daughter even became the model for the film's protagonist, Chihiro.
Huh.
During the film,
That's cool.
during the film's planning phase, Miyazaki gathered the daughters of the Ghibli staff in a mountain hunt in the Shintaro province to hold a training seminar.
You heard it here first. Hayao Miyazaki was hunting children.
Yep. His experience led him to wanting to make a film for them since he had never made a movie for girls at the age of 10.
To be fair,
What the fuck
specific
is Kiki for
demographic.
then?
that was like
She's
12,
like 13.
Okay.
What is Totoro then?
It's like 8.
Did those come out before
I
Spirited
think,
Away?
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like Totoro is unisex.
Sure.
Not geared just towards little girls.
They just happen to be two little girls.
Yeah. Akiki is very much geared towards girls, though.
There's probably some sort of lost in translation going on there. Like,
Possibly.
well, it probably means like those ones he was making for himself, and it just happened that he used those characters, as opposed to this one he was making for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he was thinking about what would they like? What do you guys want to see in a movie?
Like dragons.
We want a big dragon that almost eats me, but it's okay. But
I
also
want-
he's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I also want pigs for parents, and
God, I just want my parents to go away.
and I want,
I just want a magical dragon to be my boyfriend and take me away from her.
and I want 2 witches, and I want the first one to be evil and the second one to not be evil, and I want them to look exactly
call her Granny.
the same. And I'm gonna call it Granny because Granny's the
Can we talk
best
about how
name.
polite she is, even though her parents just seem like assholes?
Yeah.
Like she's just like, no, thank you. Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. Like,
Yeah,
just
can I be
so
a-
polite for the whole movie. And I
Really?
understand that that's part of the kind of coming of age tale because she's kind of like being respectful to her employee. You know, but
You
her
know.
parents are, yeah.
and like
you know.
I can't, I,
to no
yeah.
face.
No, you're there. You got it. You're good.
She's
I
so nice
blanked.
to no face, even when like
Yeah.
he's a giant monster and he's like,
Just literally
"Don't
eating
you want
people.
money?" And she's like,
No, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
"I don't want."
I liked
that.
how my favorite dialogue in the whole movie is No Face because he just goes, all the time.
So our very quickly we usually do this up front. Did you watch the sub or the dub?
I watched the dub.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought about it though. I thought about watching the subtitle just to get the full experience and just do like
Yeah. I think
But I was afraid of how fast paced it might be, and I didn't want to miss anything if we were going to get analytical on the movie. So I was like, I feel like the safer option is probably the English dub.
well that's the thing. Whenever you watch, well, for the older ones especially, when you watch a dub of a Ghibli film, when you're watching the dub, you're like, oh man, this is a lot of dialogue. But then you watch the sub,
And you're like,
usually a lot
"Oh,
less
wait,
dialogue.
Wait a minute, they just let scenes be scenes.
Yeah, like instead of cramming every single second with dialogue, like characters.
I can't remember what scene it was. I think it was right before she gets on the train. Oh, they were talking about her one last test.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to give her one last test. And it felt like they were cramming in the dialogue because the scene was like already changing to like her back on the train. And it felt very unnatural that they were still talking about her test in English because they'd like left that behind already.
Yeah.
That was the only one that stood out to me where it's like they really seem like they're cramming in. They're just like, they couldn't talk fast enough to finish this sentence before we transition
Yeah.
to them on the train again.
Because like usually, like, was it Castle in the Sky? Was like
Yeah,
was like the worst one
entire-
so far?
Yeah, there's like an entire chase through the mines on like carts along the tracks and stuff like that. And there is 80% more dialogue in the dub than there is in the original version of
Yeah.
it.
Weird.
Like anytime that there are no characters' mouths on screen, they'll just shove dialogue like as like off-screen dialogue. Yeah.
Why?
Because
Just-
American kids are dumb. They don't
Yeah.
understand images. They have
Subtlety.
to have, yeah.
They need to have somebody saying what is happening.
Yeah. So as far as the dub, the one, and I know it's not his. Like I'm sure he's perfectly fine gentleman, But I cannot take Bob Bergen seriously after his run as Link in The Adventures of Zelda, the 1989 television cartoon. Apologize to Mr. Bergen. He was also involved in the really bad Lupin the Third dub that we watched.
Oh, Castle of Cagliostro?
Yeah.
Who did he play in that?
Lupin.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
So he didn't have too much dialogue. He was just the
obnoxious frog who got eaten by No Face.
Yeah. So he did the No Face dialogue every once in a while.
Yeah. Not that dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, he did that too.
Oh, did he?
I mean, he was No Face / the guy that gets
Oh, okay. Interesting.
snacked up by No Face.
And then
When No Face is doing that, though, it's kind of adorable.
Yeah. Just take it.
Yeah.
He's on the train just sitting there.
The one that
Sit here and be
always
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
the one that always throws me off every time, Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
I always forget that he's in this one. I'm like, oh, this
For
isn't
2 seconds.
This isn't a Pixar.
They were all under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
God help us, they'll be again soon. As soon as Disney No Faces every other media property in the world.
Jesus, yeah.
Folk,
Nom, 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 nom.
Bob Iger or whoever is in charge of Disney, if you're listening, we're for sale.
We
Cheap.
yeah. We have no principles.
Is this the first film where instead of having the antagonist just become kind of good at the end, he just created a new character that looks exactly like the antagonist and made that character the good character, the one that turns good?
Possibly, because I feel like it's usually like a pirate or something like that.
Yeah,
and
we're
there's
just like,
but
we
what
gotta,
if?
we gotta chase you down and we're gonna hunt you down, and then by the end it's like, we gotta help you now.
Yeah.
As opposed to this one, it's like, I'm an asshole and I'm an asshole all the way through to the end.
Yep.
But there's someone who looks exactly like me who's actually pretty nice.
Who's kind of an asshole, but also kind of not an asshole.
Definitely more of an asshole off screen because you
Definitely
get
curses something that makes somebody sick.
But that person works for the asshole and is stealing something for the asshole.
I know.
Yeah.
Also turned a baby and a bird into a fly and a mouse.
they deserved it. That baby wasn't.
Those were also cute characters.
Yeah.
I know. The mouse and the fly are so cute.
Yeah.
And the baby was creepy.
What are the little
The heads.
the soot sprites?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
Love soot sprites in any. Dear Japan, please get rid of all cicada noises and just put soot sprites in things. Thank you.
Speaking of, I heard some cicadas in the wild today, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, they were screaming out in the...
Just woke up screaming.
Punching that. Did you punch them?
No, they were in the woods.
Did you spray some grossness at them?
No. You know, I'm surprised there isn't... I'm sure there will be after I say this, but like some think piece about how cicadas are problematic because they're just entitlement about... All they do is scream for sex. Vox, get on it.
I can't wait to film us like recording because Josh's like head bob he just did with that was so great.
You know what? I got the head bobs down. Vox, if you're out there, I can write the dumbest fucking shit you've ever read in your life too. So you get those hate clicks. It's all about hate clicks. It's not about giving an opinion that you believe.
See, I was literally just reading, changing topic for a minute.
That's fine.
How
just
many
got some
ounces
time.
into that Miller Lite are you first?
I mean, I've don't worry, not bad changing the topic, but I was on Twitter and somebody had posted a meme.
You're right. This is not a bad change of topic at all. Continue.
Twitter's never bad.
Twitter's never bad. But somebody had posted a meme and it was a couple stills from the new Mortal Kombat movie. And it was the end fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Spoilers for Mortal Kombat.
Spoilers.
2021.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Scorpion and Sub-Zero battle each other. So it's during that fight. And there's like Sub-Zero has a wall of ice behind him and Scorpion like throws his chain. And so like his chain is stuck in the wall behind Sub-Zero. And Scorpion is critics. The spear is reviews. And then Sub-Zero is me. And so what they're like portraying it as themselves dodging critic reviews. I think specifically me just enjoying this movie. And so they're like, and it started this whole conversation between people about how like, one, spoiler alert again. Did you not watch the movie? Do you not know how that fight ends? But 2, like, reviews are not weapons meant to beat down your opinion of things.
Except for the Moist Boys. Every episode is a weapon with which to beat your enemies into submission.
It's like reviews are literally just somebody giving their opinion. But
if it's not my opinion, it's wrong.
That is wrong. But there are like plenty of like bad faith reviews, air quotes, that are literally just there for people to just be like dropping hot takes on everything just to get the rage clicks, because that's what works. And that's what reviews are starting to become. Like places, I mean, we shit on them all the time, so I don't really feel bad name dropping, but like places like CinemaSins have become just this whole machine of just doing bad movie reviews, and people take that as an actual movie review instead of just a video that you can watch and then just disregard after it's done. It doesn't need to take up real estate in your brain as either that is your opinion now or you need to just rage against that thing now. Like, it can just be there and then you just forget about it. There's no version of like where we are now where you just don't feed the beast, because the beast is just feeding on itself at this point.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum.
And so it's just one of those things where it's like what there needs to be disconnect between people who are consuming and the people who are just like word vomiting this shit out into the world. And so I feel like what we try to do is not be those people in the first place.
Yeah. And
like, so this is one of the things like that I commented back to Ed Greer was the guy that I commented back to, name dropping again. Sorry. But I was like, their reviews are literally just there as proof that either somebody felt the same way or a different way about a movie than you did. That is all they are. The end. And people just need to stop wrapping up their entire, what they think is their personality in what somebody else thinks about a movie. Also, don't turn your entire personality into what you think about a movie. Quoting The Office all the time, quoting Napoleon Dynamite all the time. That's not a personality. Get an actual personality.
Yes, it is. Gosh.
Vote for Pedro.
Fucking soapbox over it.
I mean, that was one of the...
Why don't you go eat a decrepit piece of crap, John?
God damn it.
I've decided you're not allowed to drink any ounces of Miller High Life.
What are you talking about? That was perfectly
that was coherent enough, yeah.
To put on the looking back glasses. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know what? I can't take it anymore. Like,
yeah.
The worst, like, obviously never read the comments. Just go to Facebook or usually it's Facebook's the best place to see this. Go to Collider's Facebook page, find a review, click on the comments, and just like wallow in this stupidity. Because like, you don't have to agree you don't have to agree with anybody. It's fine. But also, like, why get upset that someone didn't like Mortal Kombat? And like, why don't police how other people enjoy movies or not? If you enjoyed Mortal Kombat, that's fine. If you think it's dumb but you enjoyed it, that's fine. If you think it's a great movie, I couldn't wrap my head around that, but that's all you, brother.
I agree with everything you're saying, but like, do you think that there's got to be at least one movie where you're just like looking at someone who enjoys it and you're like, you got to be out of your fucking mind. Like,
I mean, Rat Race.
Like, if I'm like,
You heard it, Harley.
Yeah, you, Harley.
You don't like Rat Race?
No.
That's one of the worst movies ever made.
That's Rowan Atkinson's masterpiece right there.
Christ.
And Seth Green. And I mean, you know what's great? That movie had like an A-list cast. I did a really good cast. Kind of.
Maybe
not A-list. I'm thinking about it again. No, probably not A-list.
It has a cast.
Dude, Smash Mouth was in it. Are you kidding me?
It has the sidekick from every other franchise as like the main characters, plus Cuba Gooding Jr.
Rat Race.
He was a household name at that point, wasn't he?
DJ Qual. Isn't DJ Qual Rat Race?
No.
What are the other big names?
It's
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz,
Yeah.
Wayne
Kathy
Knight,
and Jimmy.
John Cleese.
John Cleese. He's probably the biggest name in that movie, honestly.
Either him or Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Is the
Seth
white
Green, I
guy
guess?
from him, the guy that bit his tongue, just like every tertiary actor from every 90s movie is
Breckenmeyer.
Breckenmeyer.
Amy Smart.
Breckenmeyer. Amy's whatever happened to her?
Amy Smart.
I don't know. She's a
Whoopi's
good-looking
in
woman,
it.
though. Oh yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. She was a household name. Yeah. There we go.
No,
There's-
the Seth Green storyline and the John Lovitz storyline are some of the most painful cinematic experience I've ever had in my life.
I loved that movie when I was a kid, and I hadn't watched it for like years, and it was on TV
Seth
not even
Green's
that
in
long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, him and the guy that bite his tongue are together, or is he like a?
I think they're like brothers or something.
Yeah, did he bite his tongue and it's just like that?
No, he
or
got it
is
pierced. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
He had the pierce.
Yeah.
Rowan Adkins.
He talks like that the whole movie.
Yeah.
Mr. B.
the shortcut.
That was definitely them getting around some problematic. Like he was definitely written as another type of character, and they're like,
Maybe they brought it to the table and they're like, "This is offensive," and they just like thought on their feet. No, he had his tongue pierced.
Yeah.
They just like
That's why he talks
yeah,
like that.
no, that's why. Yeah.
Jesus.
Also, I don't understand people's love for the Fast and Furious movies. Like,
That was the example I was going to use. It was
like
Fast 8.
Like,
You
I
saw
don't-
that in the theater. How can you not judge
fast.
someone?
Too
How can you not judge
furious.
someone that saw that in the theater?
Hobbs and Shaw. I watched like the first 10 minutes of
or
Hobbs and Shaw, and I turned it off. I was like, this is not.
How many times did you throw up in your mouth in that time?
Probably like twice.
Yeah.
Just like
It's like, do you not look at certain movies when you're in the theater? Do you watch South Park? Have you ever seen that episode where Stan is just sitting in the theater with his friends and he's just like being cynical and he's just like, this looks like absolute shit. And they're like, I think that looks pretty good. And he's like, are you a fucking kid? Like, he just getting like more and more pissed at and all he sees on screen is like shit, like just pieces of poop acting out movies. And he's like, Jim Carrey is housing 10 penguins. And they're all just like pieces of like dog shit on the ground, and he's just like, this is so stupid, it just all looks shitty. And they're like, Stan, you're doing it again, like being
I remember
cynical.
I remember that episode. That episode came out like 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of that episode, literally everybody was like, did South Park just end?
Yeah,
Because it ends with no resolution and him just lying on his bed staring at the ceiling as Landslide plays over it
Yeah.
and then credits roll.
yeah.
that-
I watched that episode and was like, is this me? That's me. That sounds like me.
It sounds like
I've definitely had that, like watching trailers for movies, because
Yeah.
people when theaters reopen and a movie's playing on the screen, shut the fuck up. But like, I guess during trailers, but like, I'll watch a trailer and be like, God, that looks so fucking awful, and someone will be like,
Yeah.
can't wait for that to come out, and just like,
Yeah.
what? Excuse me?
Every time I go to the movies, I'm like, when people are like, oh yeah, it's like, no way you're not saying that.
Or like
ironically.
the Hangover 3 trailer is playing, and like there's like the one row of people that are just losing their minds at every joke. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm judging what you're laughing at 100% in the theater. If you think certain things are funny, I'm like, you have zero taste.
So anyway, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Folks,
Got off the rails quickly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I took it there and then I was done and then it kept going.
I like how Heather, it's just like, you're taking it off the rails. And then we're like, we'll show you off the rails.
Yeah.
fucking taking this bitch cross country off road,
Yeah.
and we're four-wheeling this train.
We're doubling down on not talking about the movie we said we were going to talk about.
There's what's the opposite of an uncanny valley? Like
The
there's
most canny valley.
yeah.
A valley of cans.
There's-
There's cans everywhere.
There's a valley of movies where you can talk about them for hours and discuss
Yeah.
them and go in and out. And then on either side of that valley, you've got your
Your movie's too bad to talk about for hours.
Yeah.
Dear God. And your movie's too good to talk about.
Because you're just like,
hours.
I can't.
It goes back to what John said. It's like a visual experience. It's really hard to put it into an hour-long conversation.
Yeah, if you're trying to
Everyone experiences
explain
it
even
differently.
what happens in this movie.
Even that would be like fucking
And
like
this is the point of the movie.
Yeah, saying out loud what happens in this movie would like somebody would just be like, "You didn't actually. This is a fever dream."
Did you take all of the drugs first?
So Chihiro
Yeah.
gets thrown into this room. A big giant baby eating candy comes out. 3 heads roll into the room. A big giant woman makes her sign a contract, and then her name gets changed
To Sen. And now we know her as Sen. And when she introduces herself to Haku the next second, she literally introduces herself as Sen.
That's not explained until
And like
much
doesn't
later.
even like just like doesn't even hesitate. Like it's just, oh yeah, my name's Sen.
I did not realize she didn't know her name until she looked at her card. Yeah, and I was like, oh, she doesn't like when she's like, oh, you. When she signs the contract and they take her name, it's just like, okay, so they're just gonna call her something different. But it was never explained until that moment that she doesn't like. She's like, oh yeah, I think that's my name. It's like, oh.
Her name was literally taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not know it was in a literal sense until that moment, which I don't know if that was supposed to be intentional, if that was an intentional choice.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Because again, like there's so much of this. There are probably people who are much more equipped to talk about this movie at length. Those people are probably Japanese.
Or have lived in Japan for any length of time.
Yeah.
Or are not just like a few dumbasses sitting around talking about fucking
Let's talk about movies.
Godzilla versus Kong and the Snyder Cut and fucking
And then
Mortal Kombat.
Literal visual art the next week.
Yeah, go from some bullshit to a real movie and just get fucking whiplash.
Yeah.
So RJ, for the monthly Miyazakis, you've been on some episodes in the past. You know we have our usual rating scale. We don't use that for these ones because like, how do you put a number? You can't put a number on a movie like this, especially.
No.
Yeah.
So what
I
we
could
do
give
for
it like a personal rating, I suppose, but
yeah, but for the monthly Miyazakis, did I mention? I said that was at the
Yeah,
beginning.
you said
did.
that at the
You're
beginning.
good.
Yeah.
We did all the intro bullshit. For the monthly Miyazakis, we do. Is it a must watch? Is it a for people that are just want to like get the whole experience, or like don't watch it at all? And I don't think we've had any skip-its. And like even the quote unquote worst Miyazaki is still.
I think we've had.
Sure.
Yeah, I think at worst we've had like completionists, but
Yeah, I
we
think-
haven't had a full skip it.
I think for me so far, like Castle in the Sky is probably towards the bottom as far as like it's not a super enjoyable experience, and like he's still working out some of the bits. At this point in his career, like everything's running. The Ghibli factory is running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So I would say this is definitely a must watch. Like definitely top of the Hayao Miyazaki's definitely in the top 5, if not. I don't like. It's hard. It's hard to judge this.
having not seen any other pieces of his work and not being super well versed, I would still say it's a must watch just because it's visually a really entertaining movie to watch. Beautifully done, really interesting, very different. And I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but like a good way to get in, to dive into his work or just into like animated movies in general.
Yeah, I think this is the closest like dead center between his this is my miserable allegory for humanity and this is a kid's movie. I would say this like splits the difference of like
there's something in it for everybody.
Yeah, like this is the rare family movie, and not in a derogatory way with just like, yeah, we put some dick jokes that the kids won't get, but you know, Dwayne Johnson's gonna be wearing a tutu for the kids to laugh at. So everybody's got something. Like this is like a family movie in the sense that there is literally something like everyone is able to enjoy every aspect in their own way. I guess we can talk about the how does it fare on the Bennett scale?
I mean, he watched the whole thing.
He sat and watched the absolute whole thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is, don't know if he's done that yet. Even Kiki, where I thought he was going to be super in love with it, he got up and walked away for a while.
I don't remember. Was he there for the whole thing of Totoro? I feel like there were a couple of times he walked away.
He
No,
kinda
he
came
wandered
in and
it
out of
out.
that.
Every time Totoro was on the screen, he was in the room. Every time Totoro was not on the screen, and the cat bus wasn't on the screen, he was
Like,
out.
I don't care about any of this shit. I'm gonna go play with my toys.
But this, he was definitely like, by the end, he was super invested in making sure that everything turned out all right.
Yeah. He was very concerned. He was like, wait, where are her parents? Oh no, the dragon. Oh no, the baby. Like he was concerned about everyone.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure some of it is the film, but also like he's at that point where like every day is just exponential mental development. Because like even 6 months ago, I can't imagine having some of the conversations with him that are happening now of like concepts of things. I mean, to capture the interest of a 5-year-old at any point, like I don't care what, like cartoons don't need to be louder and faster and dumber for kids to enjoy them. Like
no, not at all.
I don't like producers out there. Like I know you need to get the money to buy your cocaine that you can snort off a stripper's ass, but like.
Don't we all
make more than one type of cartoon, please? Like,
yeah. Like some of his favorite cartoons are ones where like he can just sit down and the story just happens. A show will just have scenes that just like here's this scene, and it all plays out very nicely. And like those are some of the shows that he just really enjoys watching. And it's like, huh. So it doesn't just all have to be fucking noise,
cacophony.
audio and visual, like noise just coming at you at all times for it to be something you enjoy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that's
nice.
That's good. I'm glad that there's like some sort of just base level human enjoyment out of things that are just there.
It's like enjoying candy versus like him enjoying like a really nice meal. Like like a good dinner, and you're like, oh, you like this? Like there's
that's like a terrible example because this kid barely fucking eats anything.
I was like, it's the difference between him being like, I want cookies. Can I have an apple?
Yeah.
Like,
Jonathan, what do you think? Is it a must watch? Is it a skip it, or is it a completionists only?
This is obviously a skip it. This movie fucking sucks. No, this is a must watch. Back to your point, per my last email, about it being like a middle ground between like just kids movie and like just absolute abysmal. Like, who even were you when you were writing this? Because I feel like this is one of the times where like, sure, humans are the disease, but not to humans. To the people in this spirit world, humans are the disease.
Yeah.
But like,
you're making this movie for humans.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, because there are plenty of like Princess Mononoke is literally just humans are the disease, the movie. And I feel like he definitely like scaled that down a little bit to be like, you know what? But yeah, like this is a movie where like that opinion comes from people who just are not the protagonists. So that's good. That's nice to see. But yeah, this is a visual. I hate using like shitty buzzwords that people who are selling you the movie want to use. But I feel like this movie is both a visual feast and a visual masterpiece.
If you reserve those words for the movies that deserve it, I don't think
they don't lose their meaning.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat.
But when they say that about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, you know.
God, that movie is a visual masterpiece.
Yeah. It's a feast and a masterpiece.
Yeah, when I think it's Revenge of the Fallen. When fucking
Tiny Todd, or is it the other one?
John Totoro is hiding out behind Devastator and he's got testicles. Visual masterpiece.
Heather, skip it. Matt, what was the other ones I said? Skip it.
Words.
Completionist or
must watch.
Must watch.
This is a must watch for me. The Spirited Away was the first Miyazaki film I ever watched. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people around my age, I feel like, and the time that I watched it, it was a lot of people being like, "This is such a great film," and I was like, "This actually is super amazing." And I just think like we've been talking about, it's just accumulation of all of his greatest work and just put in such a beautiful way. And there's a lot of fun symbolisms and stuff, and like it's just real great and stuff. I don't know. Like I could go. I could just talk about how beautiful it is and how it's a great story and you really care about the characters, and that's what makes it a great movie like, I don't know. It's great. Go watch it. Okay, bye.
Also, like, I feel like Joe Hisaishi really kicked it up a notch in this because he, like, did nice scores in the past, but that was definitely focused more on, like, here's the piano part. Here's, like, these different parts. Whereas this one, like...
The score was excellent.
It was, like, huge and, like, every time something would happen, like, the score would just get enormous. And it's like, man, they really pulled all the stops. And, like, so apparently he did it with the New Japan Philharmonic. Like, you can definitely...
You can tell.
Noise.
Because, like...
It wasn't like he had a band behind him. He had a fucking orchestra behind him.
The old Philharmonic just wasn't doing it for him anymore. He had to get the new Philharmonic.
New kids.
New kids on the block.
Folks.
Had a bunch of hits.
Yikes.
Chinese food makes me sick.
So, as we said at the beginning, the point of this episode is go watch Spirited Away.
Go watch it.
I don't think 5 is probably a good age to debut it with. I feel like younger, some of the no-face stuff might be...
I'm surprised he wasn't a little more spooked by some things.
Like towards the end, when what the fuck is Baba Yaga's fucking name? I cannot remember it off the top of my head right now.
Baba? Boob?
Granny.
Evil Granny. When Evil Granny is going Super Saiyan, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be okay with this right now.
Baba.
When like the baby's when like Haku is like, your kid's gone, bitch. Did you even notice? And then she figures it out and like freaks the fuck out. I was like, I don't know if Bennett's going to be fine with this.
Like, I don't know. He's weird with some things. She never hurts anybody when she freaks out like that.
No, she just got big and there was like fire coming out of like everywhere.
I think he thought that was cool.
Fair enough.
He also thinks that, Indominus Rex are,
the Indoraptor.
Indoraptor. They're being mean to that dinosaur.
Yeah.
Aww.
Well, see, this is why this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you introduce your children to culture at an early age. Oh.
Yeah. You gotta, folks, normalize kids watching movies where our characters are just shooting blood everywhere.
Yeah, no, wait.
Not that culture.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We did not let him watch Mortal Kombat.
There was some of that in this movie.
No, it was Spirited Away.
Haku.
Yeah.
Haku's shooting blood
just
left and right.
Coughing up
that's
blood.
True,
and,
he does. Was he watching that part?
Yeah, he watched the whole movie.
That's true. He did. He literally cuddled me through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He got real sad and quiety during that part, I think, though.
A little bit.
I think from the granny scene on, he was a little bit more like something's going on.
I need to just sit here and watch this because what the hell is happening?
Yeah. Because I think that normally if like somebody starts to get hurt, it'd be like, oh no, are they okay? Mom, are they going to be okay? Mom, everything's okay? And he was just silent.
Yeah, from the first scene where he's like being chased by the little paper flying things and he like crashes into the room and like they show him after that. He definitely, I don't remember exactly how he words it, but whenever somebody's bleeding, he's always like, they have a red.
It was true.
It was true. He had a red.
He had a red. Oh, that's right. He did say that.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you for listening to the Moist Boys podcast. Thank you, RJ, for being on this episode. Probably one of the worst episodes we've ever done.
So sorry.
That's all right.
RJ.
Hey, if it means I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah.
So,
Come back next week and we'll have hopefully a movie that you can also enjoy, but also talk about.
Done. I'm here. Let's do it.
There's definitely... There's the two lines. One is you enjoy the movie and the conversation's a little harder to wring from that rock. And there's ones where you're just like, why did I watch this fucking movie? And you can go on for 3.5 hours about Wonder Woman 1984. Folks,
that was so much fun to record though.
Yeah.
I feel like those are probably the more like interesting ones to do anyway, or the ones that
The ones that are like cathartic are always fun to do. Where you're just like, I gotta
where you can
get this out of my brain.
Yeah.
Not sure where this is going to end up in the schedule. We're getting things back on track, but we've got our Into the Nolan verse. We were talking about
Interstellar.
We're going to be continuing with those series. It's good, actually. Monthly Miyazaki and Into the Nolan verse, plus a little sprinkling of some other content in there, because sometimes it's nice to talk about things that are not just like structured and locked in advance. But yeah, so yes, as Jonathan said, going forward, we'll have Interstellar, Howl's Moving Castle. I think it's on Disney Plus, but we've got the Three Musketeers starring Charlie Sheen and Oliver Platt and
Kiefer Sutherland.
Is that the one with Alfred from Snyder Cut? What's his name?
No,
John Malkovich.
Nope.
No, it's the one with
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah, I knew it was one of those old bastards.
Tim Curry.
Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry. No, don't Jesus me. Chris O'Donnell is hot in this, and it's fine.
But yeah, we got those to look forward to. So, folks, thank you all for listening. Catch those episodes when they come out, and subscribe to HBO Max, because half of the shit we're going to be talking about this year comes from that.
Most of the stuff we talked about this month came from that.
Everything we talked about this month came from that.
And everything from April and May is going to be HBO Max.
I would say, last month, because this is not coming out, then fucking...
Yeah.